I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of a deep dive into my books that are out there in the wild. And I thought I'd start with one of my newest ones today on Greyhawk. So this is the Greyhawk Guide to Orc. This is a nice hardcover. It's available on DM's Guild. It's 29.95, and you get the hardcover and the PDF. Um, I do that for all my books. And if you get the PDF just to try it out to see if you like it, and you can do an upgrade to the print version, which will deduct the price of the PDF, so you're not double paying for the PDF, which I thought was only fair now that I figured out how to do it. But the book itself is this is my newest one. It is 69 pages, and it is for 5th edition 2024 rules. However, the first half of the book is rule free. There's nothing in there except lore. And the lore that we've got is pretty, impressive, if I do say so myself. You can see there's art on almost every page in here. There's the history of the orcs, and this takes us from the mythological origins of Grumps and the orcs and so forth, and how they were treated by the gods. Then it goes into how they were used as mercenaries between the Sulois Imperium and the Baklunish Empire, and then into the migrations into the Floness, and then more detailed information on how they're used as troops in the Great Kingdom and how they conquered the Homarge and stuff like that. So there's a lot of great information in here that I've taken from a whole bunch of different sources and put together. Then there's something that I'm very proud of. This is a comprehensive listing of every Orcish tribe that's mentioned, at least everyone that I could find. And this goes from all kinds of different places. This takes the ones from the monster manual that are mentioned. It takes things from Gary's Q&As, Dungeon Magazine, Dragon Magazine, Adventures, just anywhere I could find the name and details of an orc tribe, I put it in here. So you've got the black vultures, the bloody blade, the bloody axes, the bloody hand slash fist, and so forth and so on. Again, it's got some nice artwork where I put in the heraldry of their tribe. And one of the really cool things about this, and it gives their history, a little bit about their culture, if we know it, how big they are, where they are, that kind of thing, any notable things. But I've also got where I put in maps. So this is like a map of the Pomarge and shows you where the tribes are. Um, We've got how orcs are dealt with in other nations, so orcs in the Great Kingdom and the Horn Society and the Empire of Ayuz. And then I even go across Orc because orcs aren't just in the Floness, right? They're in Central Orc, they're in all over the place. So we have the biggest one, of course, is Orcreich. And I know a lot of people say it's a dumb name, and it is a dumb name. But it does go back to the Black Moon Chronicles. Freudal did that, and it was going to be part of uh, Greyhawk, and then it didn't because the whole stuff with Gygax, and yet when they did the Dragon Annual 1 map, they took a lot of the names from the Black Moon Chronicles and worked them in there, and Orcreich was one of them. I did a whole video on that not too long ago. But it gives a history of the Orcreich. And I've got this beautiful map of the Orcreich, which I'm very proud of. And then it's got the Sundered Empire, which is the area of the 2001 Chainmail game that is Northwest Orc. We've got orcs in gray space, how they are on Borka and so forth. So it's a ton of information, and we haven't even gotten to any mechanics yet. So if you're not playing 5e, you could get it just for that, and it would probably be a really, really cool thing. We do then get into, starting on page 28, we get into some mechanical stuff. We have character origins, and this is a thing for backgrounds for 5e. And even this is stuff that, if you wanted to, you could convert it into whatever game you're playing, first E, second E, third. There's all kinds of stuff in there. It gives you what your proficiencies are and so forth. So you can have mystics and pit fighters and mine rowdies and stuff. A lot of that comes from the second edition Book of Humanoids, which I took a lot of inspiration from. Same thing with monster mythology, which we'll do in a second. But all those different kits that you had in second edition, I've turned into these backgrounds, where it was applicable, and it came in with a whole bunch of really cool stuff. And what I'm trying to do with this book was, I kind of wrote this as a reaction to Wizards of the Coast turning orcs into just another character race. Taking away all of their distinctiveness and so forth. Making them not inherently evil and so on. This is going back to its roots, right? So we have half orcs. They took half orcs out of the game. I'm putting them back in this book. And so you've got rules on how to do a half orc character, and then we've got a whole section on monsters, and orcs are monsters here. So we've got half orc assassins and half orc fighters, and lozels, which is a half orc half baboon hybrid that Gygax created in one of the Gord the Rogue novels. We've got Obrillions, regular orcs. We've got orc berserkers and captains and gang fighters. We've got orc war chiefs. We've also got different shamans of the different orcish gods. If you want to have them as monsters, they're all statted out here. And again, you could use that in another game. Just quickly convert, and it should be easy enough to do. It tells you, the orc Eye of Grumsh uses a spear and casts these spells and can get divine aid. Okay, well that's pretty straightforward. It tells you what his gear is. He's got dark vision, which that's infravision. Everybody, converting this stuff into another edition is not that hard. I've done it on the fly, and it's really not that bad. But we've got different shamans for each one of the orcish deities as they were laid out in monster mythology and, of course, earlier in Dragon Magazine, which takes us. Oh, we've also got Orogs and Skro. Skro are those hyper militant orcs from Spelljammer. So I tried to bring in everything. I tried to make it really comprehensive. Then we've got the deities of the orcs. We've got Baktru, Grumsh, Ilnaval, Luthik, Shargas, and Yurkus. And I've got in here a uh, cleric subclass for each one. Now, a lot of people balk at that, but to me, this is just specialty clerics. They had those in first edition, going back to the old gold box, going back to Dragon Magazine, even before the gold box. If you're a cleric of Saint Cuthbert, you get these extra spells and these powers and so forth. This is nothing different. It's just taking it to its logical conclusion, where the god the priests, the clerics of Grumsh, they have access to the war domain or the special domain of their god. That's the Grumsh's domain, where his clerics get a bonus proficiency. They can use any armor and weapons. They get they can temporarily buff their own hit points. They get their own domain spells and so forth, and a couple special powers that you get at higher levels. And each one of these, I tried to put in a little bit of character, a little bit of lore into each one of these, just to give them some flavor. Um, this is where my people, my great orcs, shall dwell, and they shall grow strong in these dark places and multiply in vast numbers. And one day they shall slay all of your peoples, for neither they nor I shall ever forget your treachery this day. They shall inherit all the world that you sought to take from them. And that's a quote from The Tale of the Beginning, which is something I made up for the for the book. So and the same thing for all of the different orcish um, deities. They each have their own specialty clerics with their own specialty spells and powers and stuff like that. And again, you can convert this right back into first edition or second edition or whatever you're playing. It will work fine. And then we end up with spells. We have the descriptions of those specialty spells that a lot of the orcish gods give to their uh, clerics. And I also included the stuff for IUs because a lot of orcs serve IUs. So I wanted to make sure that, you didn't have to go somewhere else to get those spells if you were interested in doing it. So we've got stuff like Cloak of Fear, Lesser Affliction. We've got, all kinds of the Screaming Skull and Strength and Turn Bane and Venom Claws and all kinds of cool stuff that, once again, if you're not playing 5e, convert it over. It's pretty easy. There's a couple of magic items that I took from some places. The Ring of the Pomarge from the Greyhawk Adventures hardcover. The Skull of Ogorek, which I think comes from Slavers or something like that, or Revenge of the Against the Slave Lords or something like that. But it came from some source. And then I give a full bibliography of where I got all this stuff from. Some of it comes from Five Shall Be One or Slavers or Gray Space or events of the Flyness, and just deities and demigods. Just all kinds of stuff is in here. So do check it out if you're all interested in really delving deeply into the lore of the orcs, and if you're playing 5e. Do get it, because even if you're not playing in Greyhawk, there's all kinds of stuff in here you could take into your game. You could put all of this stuff would work. All of the clerical stuff and the spells and everything that'll work in the Forgotten Realms or wherever just fine. But if you're playing something else, get it for the lore and then convert over whatever sounds interesting. It's not that hard. So, anyway, I will leave a link to the book below. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend, at least here in the US, and I will talk to you all later.
Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.